Hi, and welcome to British Dad Reacts. My name is John, and thank you so much for watching. And if you like this kind of content, then you know what to do. In 1977, I saw a video on television. And on the strength of that, I went and bought the double album. This is, of course, the very recognisable introduction to Fanfare for the Common Man. This is the version by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or ELP, as they were frequently known. It was filmed in the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And it's still, for me at least, even today, a very, very powerful video. And for a song that is quite long and an instrumental, it still has that power to just grab me. It's an amazingly powerful rendition of Fanfare for the Common Man. just going to stop it there, and you'll see why in a second. I think it's just a fabulous video. At some points you can see the little snowflakes still falling down. And the story behind this is, I suppose, fairly well known. Apparently they were rehearsing in a space underneath the stadium. It was apparently only, they needed a large space and this fitted the bill. And Keith Emerson went up for a coffee, saw the stadium with the snow and said, "We're going to do this track in the stadium." And the equipment was set up for the next day. ELP are a British rock band of the 70s, really. And they were huge, a huge band with their own kind of unique style. And in many ways, I think each of them was a kind of virtuoso musician in their own right. You saw Keith Emerson there on the keyboards and the synthesizer all wired up and ready. His ability to bring in that distortion in the middle section. Really a great keyboard player. Greg Lake, the bass player, again a great musician, very famous for playing his 8-string bass guitar and the rhythm he kept. And then Carl Palmer, the drummer. Again, one of the kind of highly respected drummers of the time. We'll come back to the song because I think this song starts with a version of the original recording and finishes with it. And we'll talk about that at the end of this. To me, such a fabulous song in a fabulous setting. This song was originally written by Aaron Copeland in 1942. And when ELP made this track and based it very much on the original, Aaron Copeland was still alive. And so they needed his permission to reproduce his music and perform, which they did get. And he is reported as saying that he really loved what they'd done to it. The beginning is straight Aaron Copeland, slightly different tempo, obviously with a rock sound. The middle section with all the kind of keyboard sounds and things from Keith Emerson in particular was their own. And then they revert again at the end back to the kind of Aaron Copeland classic sound of this song, Fanfare for the Common Man. Sadly, two members of Emerson, Lake and Palmer are no longer with us. Keith Emerson died, as did Greg Lake, and both remarkably quite close to each other. The setting of that, as I said, was in the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and it just looked glorious. And you can see how cold it was because you can see them breathing and the air coming out. Now, what I want to do is I just want to bring across and just play some of Aaron Copeland's original. Okay, I'll pause it there. The imagery used in this video, and that's the reason that I selected that someone had previously uploaded onto YouTube, is of soldiers going into battle. The Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra in America had an English conductor at the time by the name of Eugene Goossens. I think that's the correct pronunciation. He decided he wanted to create these fanfares to honor the soldiers, as this was the time that the US was entering the Second World War. One of the composers was Aaron Copeland. And whilst he had a slightly different name for the music, Goossens decided to stay with Fanfare for the Common Man. And as I said, it was a track to commemorate or to honour those soldiers going into battle in the Second World War. So I think it has a real resonance, and it was really good to see Emerson, Lake and Palmer reimagine this song and really pay homage to the original sound of this song and the reason why it was put together. I hope that gives you some background into what was a great video and a great rock a rock song by a fabulous band. But again, at least giving you some context of the original. Thank you so much.